be talking about who are you raising? Okay, I am married now, but I was a single mom. And I know it is not easy. I know how difficult it is out there to be a single mom. And yes, we do forget that there is single dads out there as well. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. And mostly in the world that we live in right now, it is hard. It is very challenging. But you know what? Against all the odds, my guest right now, Darlene Brooks, she did it. She did it. They are amazing and they're striving. They continue to strive because it's something that we do every day. But I'm going to allow her to say it for herself. And she's also an author. But we're going to be talking about that. Darlene Brooks, tell us more about this amazing woman. But first, start with telling us who are you and what are you all about?
Hi, Sandra. I am, first and foremost, I'm a mother. I have four wonderful children. They're all adults now. My youngest just turned 18. And I'm also a writer. I'm an author of A Mother's Manual, a book that I wrote. It came out last year. And I'm a parent coach and parent mentor. So I work with parents. I teach parents. I teach young parents in parenting classes. And I do one-on-one coaching for parents. And I do everything that I can to empower and inspire mothers and share my journey that has been ups and downs and valleys and peaks. And I've been talking about my journey as a mother and what it takes to raise your children to be their absolute best.
But you know what I love with your beginning right here is that did you notice that she said, first of all, I am a mother. How many of you think like that? How many of you think, I'm an engineer, I'm a lawyer? No. First of all, she's a mother. And I second that. First of all, I am a mother. I love that. Thank you for teaching us that lesson. Also, so tell us, what is this first lesson that we have to learn about raising children? What is it that all those people out there that says, oh my God, they're driving me nuts. How do I get my kids to be successful? What is the magic?
Yeah, there's no magic, Sandra. There's no magic, and yes, they can drive you crazy. I know that it is the hardest job to do in the world, and that's probably of all the jobs that I've had, being a mother is the hardest thing that I ever did. But I chose to be a mother.
Amen.
It was a choice.
Amen.
I chose to be a mother, and I accepted the challenges. And sometimes I fell down. It almost broke my heart, but I brush myself off. I get up and I continue to try. And you have to remember when you choose to have a baby, your child is only a baby for a very short period of time. And what you're doing is you're raising another human being. You've been given this huge responsibility to mold and shape another human being.
Yes.
Now, do you ever, when you're young, you're having a child, do you ever think, oh, I'm about to have this life that I have to shape, mold, and guide, and take care of, and nurture? Usually not. Usually you just think, I'm having a baby.
Yes.
And then the reality hits when you start to talk, when they cry, when they talk back.
Yes.
There's all of these steps that you go through, and it becomes more and more challenging because it's kind of easy to take care of an infant, to hold them and soothe them and kiss them and hug them. But when they start to develop as regular people, that's when the hard work starts.
Yes, that's when they are a headache. But it's funny because that headache, I was actually telling my daughter yesterday, she just drive me nuts sometimes. But if I had to do it all over again, I would do it. I was just letting her know. I said to her yesterday, man, I am blessed. It might be challenging, but how can we expect to raise amazing children if we are not willing to deal with those challenges that they bring? That's how they learn from us. How is it that we are dealing with it? So is that right?
That is right. And I just, I teach a lot of very young parents. I wrote the book that I wrote so that a 12-year-old could understand it. I didn't want a lot of big words and hard things to understand. I wanted to write a book in plain English so that people could understand it because it's a book of instructions.
Yes.
And I was probably, I feel like I didn't actually write it out of my head. I wrote it out of my spirit. There's over 110 passages of instructions on raising children in the book. And I just don't think that we give it much thought because it's the easy thing to do for most women to get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
The difficult part is staying the course. It's just like it's easy to get married, but the difficult part is to stay in the marriage.
Yes.
You know, and having a wedding is not the same as having a healthy marriage. Just like having a baby is not the same as, you know, raising a healthy child. It's easy to do, but you have to stay the course.
So what is the title of your book?
My book is called A Mother's Manual. It is the first instruction book for raising children. And I just think that one of the things that we need to do is give more vision to what we want our child to be, how we want them to live. You know, be really mindful of the mistakes that we've made and things that we received as children and the things that we didn't receive that we want and need, and give that to the children.
Amen. Yeah.
So it's a job. It's a job that I just want people to give some thought to. Give some thought to what you're doing, who you're raising, who you want to raise.
Well, I have this quote here that I got. It says, don't raise your kids to have more than you had. Raise them to be more than you were. I love that quote because a lot of people, they focus on giving them everything, but that is not it because they're always going to want more. But if you teach them how to be better than you were, not better than you. I always tell my kids, you can never be better than me. I want you to do better than me because they can't pay my ships. Believe me. But I have raised them to be able to do better than me so that they learn from my mistakes and they don't have to repeat my mistakes and they can do even better than me. If they do better than me, they're going to even achieve more than me. That is the whole point, right?
I think that's true. I think that when we're more mindful in our parenting, we can help our children do better than we did because we know what we would have wanted for ourselves, and we want the most for our children.
That's right.
Not so much materialistically, but
that's right.
We want them to be emotionally equipped.
Amen.
We want them to be strong. We want them to be kind. We want them to be honest. We want them to be, you know, to be able to take care of themselves in this world. And the world is changing so quickly. And I hear so many people say it was so different when I was younger.
Yes.
I didn't start having children until I was 30, Sandra. So, you know, the world is a lot different. For me, I was raised in the 60s and the 70s, and I was in my 20s and 80s. So I saw a lot, but what I see now is nothing compared to, you know, I'm glad that I'm older.
I am glad. People always tell me, you know, I'm 47 years old, and they always says, oh, you are 18. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm 47. Oh, you are 21. No, I'm not. I don't want to be there. I am really happy with the age that I have, and I do not want to go back. I've been through it already. I learned. I don't want to be there. But talking about, back to the topic, give us a sample of your book. You wanted to give us some kind of a tip of how to raise our children based on your book.
Well, there are 110 passages in the book. I don't know them all by heart. Some of my favorite ones, one of my favorite passages is teach your children to read, speak, write, count before they go to school. Because home is their first school and you are their first teacher. And a lot of times we send these children to school and expect the teachers to teach them. But the teachers can't teach them everything. I started teaching my children at home, and I love that they have pre-K now and preschools for children, and start early teaching them. Make sure they know those things, their ABCs, how to spell their name, how to count, how to write their name before they start school, so they'll be excited about learning. They'll do well in school. That's important.
Amen.
But I think that the biggest thing is to nurture your children properly, give them more than just food, clothing, and shelter, and expect them to go out into the world. Start looking for your child's gifts, talent when they're young. And that's what I did. I started looking for their gifts and talents. See what you think your children are good at, because it's your job to identify that. See what you think they're good at and encourage them in that, and root for them in that, and be there to cheer them on and tell them how great they are. Yes. And let them try different things and see what they have a passion for and what they might have a very unique talent for. And that's probably the thing that will carry them through. It may not be the thing they do for a living. Like my daughter started dancing when she was 3, and she's 18 now. And she choreographs and she does ballet. She does all of these things, but she also works in social justice, and she cares about people. She has a nonprofit, and she's only 18. So help them find a gift. They can start doing what they do while they can do it. Young kids are able to do so much right now.
I
so
love
I
that.
That's important.
I love that. Be their number one cheerleader. I love that. If you are listening right now, I'm actually, when I look down here, I'm looking at the chat room. So we are going to soon take a break. But if you have any questions, please just write it down in the chat and I'm going to try to look at it. But if you are actually listening at it while it's a video, not live, then just leave them a comment and we will try our best to answer your questions. You are listening to Sandra Graves and Darlene Brooks, and we are talking about who are you raising. And I know there it is very difficult for many women, that single moms. Even if you're in a relationship, you're married, it is still difficult to raise children. But one thing that I learned is all in your attitude. You have to have the attitude that no matter what, you are going to be their parent, and no matter what, you are going to help them succeed. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's your job. That's part of your job description, and that's your job. That's a job that you chose.
That's right.
So you choose that job. You want to do well at it, and then you can sit back and you can relax most of the time and enjoy as you watch them soar. That's just one of the greatest pleasures, is to watch your children do well.
And I can tell you that you have actually did a lot of planting and watering, because if you guys get a chance, look her up. There is a long interview, and she have her 3 daughters there, and it was an amazing interview. You will learn even more. This is not a 1-hour show. This is a 30-minute show, but I definitely encourage you to find out more about her. She's amazing. And right here at the bottom of this video, you are going to see that there is a link to her LinkedIn address. And in the future, she's going to be opening more social media. So please look her up. If you are a mother, definitely look her up, because I am so proud of this woman. This woman, God is working on her. God is working on her kids, and He's actually doing powerful things because they are allowing Him to do powerful things in their life. And with that said, I will be right back. Thank you for tuning in to The Code. The Code is presented by In Vivo Associates, our affiliates, our sponsors, and of course, our guests. Comments or questions or any show idea for us, please send us an email to info@invivoassociates.com. Thank you for tuning in to The Code. Hola, 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 hola. This is Sandra Graves here on The Code. Remember, we are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, if God allows. If you have a questions or if you have a comment for a show or if you're a coach, speaker, author, please send us an email to info@invivoassociates.com. And today we are talking to Darlene Brooks, and as I said before, an amazing woman, an amazing mother. And one thing that I am never going to forget that she said is that she's a mother first. That is her title, Mother First. And I agree with that because we keep trying to achieve all these things and it doesn't take away from it. But we always using, oh, what are you? I am an engineer. I am a lawyer. I am a doctor. And no, if you have a parent, if you're a parent, you're a mother first. So I just love that. I'm sorry, when you said that I heard you said that, I just was like so in love. I was like, this is the kind of woman that we need to teach our young people because you said that. And a lot of people don't take that. They want to do, these mothers want to do so many things, but they're already a mother and they have to remember your first job is being a mother first, no matter what. And I love that about you. So tell us more about you, my amazing woman.
Well, when I say that, I say it because personally, I know what I put most of my energy into.
And that's what I
and I worked full time. I worked in television and production, sports and entertainment for years. Jobs with very, very long hours. A very big portion of that time I owned my own company though, because I wanted to make my own hours. And everybody can't do that, but I encourage women to find some way that you can become an entrepreneur if you're with children, so that you can make your own hours, so that you can spend more time with your children. I also encourage them when they do get jobs to make it clear when they get the job that, as I did, when there's time for parent conferences, field trips, sick kid, I'm gone. I just, I had to do that because I just believe for me that I had to take dominion over my own life for the sake of my children. It was just too important, especially when I became divorced. I didn't want my kids to be latchkey kids, and I asked to change my hour. So I was coming into the office at 7 in the morning, and I was leaving at 3. So when they came home from school, I'd be there to open the door and help them with their homework and do what I had to do. And not everybody understands, and not everybody is able to do that,
That's
but
right.
I chose to do that.
That's right.
And I feel like people will do what you allow them to do, employers included. And if you'd like to spend more time with your child, you have to be creative in doing that, in making your hours or choosing jobs that you can create your hours so that you can be there for your children, because they really will appreciate you being there, and you'll see their progress when they see that they're supported.
And I definitely agree with that because I remember when I was working at IBM and my son just was a couple months old and we had a big project. I took the car seat, I put my son in that car seat. I went because I always was looking all good and going to the office. I took that car seat with my son, with the milk, with everything, and I took him to the office with me. And everybody was like, oh my God. I know that I was good. I know that I put in the work. I know that I was one of the best, and they would have a hard time telling me no, because just like I was a great mom, I was putting in the work to be a quality worker. So you can't have an excuse of, I'm going to be a great mom and I'm going to be a mediocre worker. They have to go hand in hand. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time being a great mom. And you know what? From that time on, everybody was waiting for my son to make noise. He never made noise. And the contrary. After that, that's when I started working from home, because everybody's like, oh, it's okay. You can bring him anytime. So they allow me to work from home and they allow me to bring him to the office. But it was a decision that I made. And I'm not telling you do that. I'm telling you do the work. And when you put in the work, everything else is going to come together. But it's all you. I mean, my job was, I'm not going to leave my kid with anybody. I am gonna do it. And if they want to fire me, fire me. Don't say I am gonna tell you to get fired now.
Yeah, don't get a bunch of people fired.
Don't get fired. I am telling you, you are not Sandra Graves. But if you decide that you're gonna do the best to be a great mother, let me tell you, you're gonna take amazing risks. Okay? And God is gonna open doors because you are setting your priority. And just like Darlene said, all of us can't do that, but you can find a way to make sure that your priority is a mother. And that is what my priority is. That's why I was able to connect with her, because it is my priority. And anybody that knows me knows that. And that's what I love about you. And may God continue to bless you amazingly in everything you do. But you know what? You did share something with me when we were talking before we started. Would you like to share that?
Oh, when I was telling you that I've been preparing for my wedding?
Yeah!
I'm getting married, praise God, to a wonderful, wonderful man who I actually went to high school with.
Oh.
And he was class ahead of me, and we reconnected after all of these years.
Amen.
And getting married September 1st, and I'll have 2 more children, grown-ups. I call them my bonus daughters. So we'll have 6 children that are our wedding party. And I'm really, really happy that God has given me another chance at happiness, because I did spend most of the time after I was divorced focused on my children. I did. I was not focused on dating. I was not focused on trying to find someone. I really wanted to spend my time with my children. So, and when I met Terry, it was God. It was all God, and it was God's timing. I actually said the words out loud, Sandra. I said, I think I'm ready to meet someone, to meet that one. And I prayed about it, and 2 days later, I talked to him out of nowhere, and we were 3,000 miles apart. So I know it was God.
Amen.
I believe it.
I believe it, because God is amazing. And I know we're talking about raising children, and we mentioned the man, but a lot of you women out there, you get to the point of desperation that just anything that comes, you grab it. And let me tell you, if you focus on raising the kids right, let me tell you, there's people watching, there's men watching, and God is have the right man for you. And when he see, oh, this is the type of woman that I want, you're going to connect. That's how I met my husband. I was a single mom for a long time, and I didn't think I was going to get married. But because I was focused on raising amazing kids and being an amazing woman, because, I am a little bit prideful. I'm a little bit. God is working on my humility, but I am very proud of myself, because I have done an amazing job in trusting that God is going to send me someone. And he can do it for you, but you got to focus on what's important, and then he's going to find you the right person. My husband, he respects my kids, he respects me, he's amazing. And that's what yours is going to do with you, because you already had put in the work to show who you are and what you stand for. And you have amazing kids that don't matter what, they're going to back you up, because that's what you did. So, man, God is amazing, and he's going to do amazing things in your life.
Yeah, he will do it, and you will know that it's him. I've been divorced for 11 years. It's okay. It's all right now. It's all good.
It's all good, girl. Anyway, so tell us more about how can we what is another thing that we can do to raise amazing kids? I mean, if the title was, who are we raising? And when you ask that question, it's really looking into the kids that you have and try to identify, right, how can you help them? Because they're not all the same. My son is totally opposite than my daughter. And a lot of parents, they want to be like, you are not like your brother. You are not like your sister. That is wrong. Just cross it out. That is not a way to raise kids. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there's no one size fit all for children. I have 4 children, and raising multiple children is even more difficult. because they all have different interests, different strengths, different weaknesses, different talents,
That's right.
different personalities, different spirits. And my children even went to different schools, even in elementary school,
Yes.
because I saw their different gifts and talents, and I sent them to different schools that were for them. One went to performing arts school, one went to a school that was very Afrocentric, one went to a school for high achievers, and I just put them. I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to put them on the buses, but I gave them different things. But when you think about people that have achieved greatness, and you read autobiographies, I think about Mr. Williams, who raised Venus and Serena. He predicted who his children would be. He wrote a plan about his daughters that he wanted them to play professional tennis, a 78-page plan about them being champions. He had a vision. Create a vision for your child, specifically for that child. It's like creating a map and a plan for each child. I always make sure that we're proactive. What are you going to be doing in 6 months? What are you going to be doing in the summer? What are you doing about work? Plan ahead and continue to plan for them until they're able to maneuver themselves. So you learn yourself, and then you teach them, and then you show them, you do it with them, and then you let them do it. And you really can't fail if you continue on that kind of thing with a vision and a map and a plan for their life, not just to let them out the door, let them go and see what happens. When they come home from school, how was your day? What did you learn? Did anything interesting happen? How do you feel? How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? And sometimes they say things that you'd really be surprised to hear, things you may not want to hear, but you have to engage with these children. I have been speaking to my children like they were adults since they were inside of me. I just have conversations with them. That's why you might notice my children are very articulate. They speak like very mature people, but that's because we've been having conversations for many, many years. Even when they were very, very small, I didn't talk to them like babies. I would baby talk to them. I babied them so much, but I also treated them like people. They're just little people growing up.
That's right.
So you share things with them, things that are age appropriate. I don't believe in sharing things with children that they're not old enough, mature enough to understand, because their minds work differently. But you do have to explain things to them. I say that in the book. Explain your circumstances. When things change, if you have a health issue, if you lose your job, if you have to move, if things are going to affect them, then you have to explain these things to them so that they understand and have a better understanding. Communication in any relationship is so important, and I still am learning. I will hear from my daughters sometimes, you don't listen, you're not listening. So I have to make sure that I am not just listening to respond, but I'm listening to understand what they're saying and try to understand and put myself in their shoes and just really treat them the way that I want to be treated. We all remember when we were children, what things made us feel like, how our parents made us, how people said things to us, how that made us feel. You want to understand what your child's mental and emotional state is at all times, because children have a way of processing things that are so different than adults do. And it's our job to make sure that they're feeling safe and comforted and able to do their job, which is basically just learn, obey, go to school, do your chores. That's it. You don't have to pay the bills. You don't have to keep the lights on. You don't have to put gas in the car, pay the mortgage. Just do well at the job that you have. You have to set them up, make them comfortable so that they're able to do that. Even if you don't have a lot of money, it has nothing to do with that. You have to be able to care for them. That's it. Just care for them and love them and know that your job is forever. You will forever be a mother.
That's right. Woo! That is a great ending because we have made it to the end of this program. And if you want to follow Darlene, please visit her at the bottom of this link right here. She's on LinkedIn. Send her a message, and don't forget, just like she said, it's all up to you. Make a decision, have a vision for them, and they are going to be your kids forever. Thank you, my love, for
Thank you, son.
for sharing this with us today. You are amazing. This is the first time I passed the 30 minutes, and you know what? It was well worth it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to mothersmanual.com.
Mothersmanual.com. And that is the name of the book, right?
That is the name of the book.
That is the
Mothers.
book. That is the book right there. So please look her up. And where they can find the book?
You can find the book on Amazon.com. You can find the book on BarnesandNoble.com. You can find the book at A Mother's Manual.